Sorry, I'm pinning that message. Hello and welcome to, whoa, that's lined up wrong. Hello, welcome to Sci-Fi Vision for May 12th. Ignore the video there that's in the wrong place and we'll fix it. But welcome to Sci-Fi Vision. Tonight we have, AJ's still not with us tonight. He'll be back next week, but we have Daredevil Born Again, of course, first. And then after that, we will do a review of Widow's Bay. That's for episode 3. And then after that, I don't know if Karen's doing For All Mankind since AJ isn't here. So it might just be those two. I didn't think about it when I set up the show. But we'll at least be talking about those two. And I'm not sure. I was having a discussion trying to see if when the new Widow's Bay comes out, if it comes out at midnight as opposed to 3, we could have a watch party potentially when we're done here instead of Daredevil, since we don't have Daredevil to watch. But you know, we'll do something if people want to. But if you haven't, please make sure you join our Discord. The link is in the chat where we do have our watch parties and you can get the schedule and everything. We have from watch parties on Saturday and Sunday nights. And we have we're doing Widow's Bay watch parties now on Thursday. This week it'll be 8:30 Eastern. Normally it'll be 9:30, but we have 2 episodes to do this week. And then this Friday we have Punisher. So it's a full week. Yeah, but please make sure you check out all our interviews on the video and live tab, including my one with Hannah Tarami that went up yesterday. So check all that out and make sure that you like the video. If you're on mobile, hype it if you can and subscribe to Sci-Fi Vision. We always appreciate everybody that comes. And yeah, well, it's been a while since the finale was on, I feel like. So what did you think back? What did you think of it?
I watched it a week ago with you guys, a week ago tonight, and then I didn't really get a chance to rewatch it. I just rewatched like part of it today. My week was really busy.
Well, you froze. Froze there a second, Karen. So we didn't hear.
Parts of it were great, right? But I didn't love this episode. Give me a sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had time this week to go to Jamie and Jen's deep dive that you do, that you've been doing. You and Jen have been doing it. I don't know what night of the week. Thursdays, right?
Thursday.
This season, I know, and I'm kind of sorry that I didn't go to it. That discussion that you guys have. You're great, Jamie, but in particular, Jen has like a good knowledge of the comic books and she loves this character Daredevil so much. And she's so enthusiastic that sometimes it makes me like an episode better after I listen to you guys talk about it. So I'm sorry I didn't attend this week. I had some disappointment. There were some great moments in this episode, but ultimately, like, my 2 least favorite characters, not only did they survive, but they're going to be a focus again next season. I was really looking forward to I was thinking maybe we could move on from Kingpin. I think we all had a bad feeling where this was going with Muse, right? With Heather becoming Muse, which I called pretty early in the season. And I didn't really love this show. I don't really love this show. And remember how much I hated it at the beginning of the season? And then I came around in the middle and started to gain more interest in this show this season in the middle. And I started to really like it. And I'm left kind of with this finale, like, it didn't leave me like super excited. Like, I can't wait to see next season.
All right, fair. I do think since we got a while to watch before the next season comes out, I think that if you watch the original series, you may come to appreciate it more. I could be wrong. I do believe that kind of makes a difference in that you care more. At least I feel like I care more about them since I had gone back and watched. And I still haven't even finished the original series, but I had gone back and watched the first 2. Because the first season, when I watched this, was before I watched any of the Daredevil, and I kind of was like you, like I wasn't as enthused about it. But I started really liking the characters after watching the original Netflix series. So I feel like it changed my perception a little bit. So not that you should have to do that. I'm just saying I think that you might enjoy it more.
it made you care more about Matt and Karen. I don't know if I can go back and watch hours and hours of the Kingpin. Like, I really, really dislike the character, and the portrayal has begun to really grate on me. And he's in like every single one of these shows. Like, he was in.
It's not
we talked
all
about
him.
Echo. He was in Echo, and he's in like, oh my God, get Marvel. Can you get another villain for Matt to fight? Is this the only bad guy in New York?
No, he isn't a lot, but he's not in. I mean, there's other villains and stuff throughout the original series. He was more front and center here, but I know there was some other villains. There was some different stuff going on there. I don't know if that maybe contributed to liking it more. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with you too with Karen and Matt, because I also don't think that the relationship this season was as good and did not feel as genuine. And I can see that if you hadn't already gotten that, like liking it from the original, that you wouldn't care at all, probably. So I can see that. There's other things going on in the original.
For me, just we roll into season 2, and these two are in love, right? And I don't have the basis that you had that many of you have from watching the original 3 seasons. Where the groundwork was laid for this. And I get that. And it's perfectly fine for the show to be tailored for an existing fan base, right? It is a sequel.
I feel like most people probably watched the original series. Like I feel like most of the time, if you're going to watch this, you would have watched both. I mean, we didn't when we started, but that's because we were covering it and didn't necessarily have time. But I feel like if you're watching this because you wanted to watch it, you probably took the time. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I kind of think.
I mean, there were parts of this episode I really enjoyed. The courtroom scenes in the beginning were great. The like people going to the streets were kind of great, right? It's just like an unsatisfying ending.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't love the ending either, but I know it's set up for what's coming. Kimberly's right. The Hand. There was the 5 families. Kingpin was just one. There was other things. The Yakuza. There was a lot going on that hasn't really been in this season. And she also is not looking forward to the Muse plot line. Says, I'm hoping they're not going to be so much of a focus next season, that there'll be other villain characters. Yeah, if it's all Heather, I don't know that I can tolerate that much. I don't think it will be, though. And I'm sure Kim Pung's going to be in it some, but I'm hoping that it's not like a overarching. I hope he's not there that much. I don't know. We'll have to see how.
I read an interview with like the showrunner or the head writer or somebody. I'm not really sure who this interview is with or where I read it. So apologies, internet. And this guy said that so there was like a change of creative team early in the show. And he mentioned that they had inherited the Muse storyline and already a couple episodes were written and they kind of had to go with it. And it didn't really, that storyline didn't go the way this team would have done it had they been there from the start, I guess.
Yeah, I remember AJ said something about that, how they reordered it and that with the footage that they had, but I don't remember exactly what. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he had said, to be honest. It was a while ago.
I mean, I mentioned that because, like, perhaps he'll get to enact his vision more clearly in the next season, and we will. I mean, look, they've done a good job of making me hate Heather, and if she's going to be a villain, I'm all primed to hate the villain for next season. So that's good, right?
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's the other thing too. See, I don't know about the comic books, so what you're like the whole jail scenario, I don't know exactly what that even entails, other than it's in the comic books. But Jessica, Luke, and Danny being in it with Hell's Kitchen, I think is going to make it a lot better. But it also makes me question, then why not just make the Defenders? Like, why do Daredevil if you're bringing Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and I don't know Danny's last name from the Iron Fist? Why? Why not just remake Defenders instead? Like, I don't know why they did it the way they did it, I guess. But, I mean, we're at least getting Jessica Jones. And I think out of the series, like, Jessica Jones, I did like better than the original Daredevil. So I think that series is going to be really good. Not that I dislike Daredevil. I like Daredevil. But I like that a lot. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I do feel kind of intrigued we end with Matt going to jail. I do feel kind of intrigued by a storyline of like the Daredevil, the vigilante being in jail or prison or wherever he's going to be, and like what that means for him. Like that's kind of an interesting change of environment and could be kind of cool. I imagine he'll probably break out pretty fast.
Probably. I mean, I don't know, because again, I haven't seen that. You'd have to ask Jen.
I haven't either.
Bill,
I mean,
yeah, Bill said I like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage more. I have not finished Luke Cage yet. I'm in the process of watching it. I'm liking it this time. The first time I watched Luke Cage, I had a hard time getting into it, even though I really liked the actor. I don't know if it was just the time I watched it or something, because I don't know. When I watched it again, I really liked it, but I'm not done with it yet. But Jessica Jones, I think I probably liked more, just kind of the tone of it a little bit more, maybe. Than Daredevil. So I'm happy they're going to be in it. Although like I said, it does make me question, like, why not make the Defenders, just because so much of this season, I feel like the other characters were so much a part of this season, like Jessica Jones was, but even like Bullseye, like, and
right. She wasn't, I mean, was she?
No, she wasn't in a whole lot.
Overestimate how much of the season she was, right?
No, you're right. But they had her, they had a bunch of swordsmen. It's I guess what I'm trying to get at is I feel like Matt wasn't, it was more like an ensemble cast in this season. And it was a little different, and it kind of surprised me they did that. I'm not saying I don't like it. I just, it's surprising to me because it was like a lot not about just Daredevil, and this is supposed to be Daredevil's show. So yeah, I don't know. That's just all I really can say.
Yeah, I mean, Swordsman wasn't in it that much, and he was there. He went to trial, and then he was gone, and he left town, right? Like,
it's just surprising they're bringing in like a lot of characters from the other storylines. I mean, I guess they've done that before, but it's just like quite a bit, it feels like. But I guess the original series had Elektra brought into, so there's some things. It's not like they haven't done it. I don't know. It just feels like this season was more ensemble to me than like maybe last season or something.
That's fair.
But I don't know that I necessarily dislike that. I'm just commenting and saying it didn't seem like it was fully devoted to Daredevil, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. My main concern, and we might as well just get this out of the way now. I mean, we could wait clear till the very end, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the reveal, because I'm just kind of don't know, like, I'm used to seeing and as everybody is, like, to me, you watch a superhero show, they always have a secret identity. And sometimes they, when they have a secret identity, there's people that learn it. But the fact that now, like, the whole world knows the show, it seems like that's really going to change the show a lot. And I question, like, is it going to be the same show? Like, they did that in Spider-Man, but everybody forgot him, so it didn't matter. Like, I don't know. Like, that, to me, that's going to change the dynamic so much. I'm just curious how that's going to go.
I mean, in the Avengers, nobody had, maybe Bruce Banner is the secret identity of the Hulk, but everybody knows who Tony Stark is. Everybody knows who Steve Rogers is, Natasha, Clint. Right. Nobody has a secret identity in a lot of Marvel.
They start with a secret identity was more what I meant. You're right. They don't all have a secret identity, but I'm saying, like, ones where they have a secret identity, they keep the secret identity. Like, you don't watch Superman and expect by the middle of Superman that he's going to be telling the whole world he's Superman. It's just weird. I don't know.
So I mean, I guess we'll get to it, and there are things I liked about that, and that he's done it, but and I think we're going to talk about it. We understand why he did it, but you're right, for his identity to be out there.
Yeah, it could be a cool thing. I don't know. It's a big move, I guess, but I don't know if they intend to go past season 3. Who knows? So maybe that was like the intent all along. I don't know. I'm going to wait till we get there. Bill said, like, a music album that has more features than the main artist themselves, more of a compilation than an album. That's a good way to describe it, Bill.
It's a great way to describe it.
And like I said, I'm not saying I didn't like it. It just was surprising, and it just makes me wonder, like, why they did it that way, if there was a reasoning, because they didn't do the first season like that, or at least I didn't feel like it was like that. So yeah, but at least there's been a lot of action. I appreciate that it hasn't been all court scenes. At least there's been a lot of stuff going on. All right. Well, we start out at the end at the restaurant that they're at. I had forgotten they even showed it at the beginning until I was doing the screen capture. So, It's so pretty though. Like I'm guessing this is probably a real restaurant, but like I'd like to see it. It's really pretty. All the lights and everything.
Those lights are cool, yeah.
Yeah. Hey Doc, welcome. Everybody make sure you check out Doc Kaiju's channel when you get a chance. See what he's got cooking. I know Monarch's done, but I'm sure he's got a lot more stuff coming. So make sure you check all that out. Bill says the method usually sets up the return of other characters in their series promotion. Yeah, like with Jessica Jones. Yeah. Yeah, they did use it a lot for setup. All right, so Jessica is fixing up Matt. I don't know whether he really hurt himself enough. He's going to need a new knee. If he did, I wouldn't think he'd be able to walk. So, and I said that the other day, like, I'm not sure if some of that was sarcasm, but yeah, she has to patch him up and give him something basically so he can at least get to the court case where he needs to be. At least they gave Jessica like a reason to be here. I mean, she saved him, right? So it made sense that she's the one helping him out, but he needs to get there or they're not going to be able to get, do what they need to get done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And then we have Kingpin here who he asks, I believe this is where he asks, I don't know. I don't have it written there, but I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought this is where he asks him like if everything went, if Daniel delivered or something like that. And he says no, so he knows he killed him. I thought, yeah, okay, I found it. It was this. He said, did Daniel deliver? And he said no. And then Fist said about, I understand the responsibility of someone chosen by millions of New Yorkers and that they think grief has clouded his judgment. So he's kind of concerned the way people are. I guess he's seeing that the people maybe are changing the way that they feel about him. But I think the whole point of this scene is that he gets I still don't know if I got the right word for it. The affidavit, is that the right thing? Calling him into court.
Affidavit, yeah.
It is the affidavit.
No, that's a subpoena. He was subpoenaed to come to court, you mean, right?
Okay. Because I think I said affidavit last time. Subpoena. Okay. He gets subpoenaed to court. So we kind of already know it's obviously hinting there that Matt's calling him in. If Matt ever gets there, since he isn't there yet. But yeah, and there's Buck before anything happens.
Buck's looking very concerned, but we know that Fisk kind of relishes this opportunity to go face to face with Matt, right? Like he's so full of hubris that he can't imagine it could go any way but in his favor, right?
Yeah, and we talked last week when we talked about the finale between me and Jen and Scarlett. I feel like the discussion was less about like what I know when me and you and AJ talked about it. It was more about the idea that the whole plan was to get Daredevil there. But I feel like when we had the conversation last time, it more shifted that like he would have been okay with either of them there. I felt like was more kind of the consensus and what Jen felt. I think
Kingpin equally wants to prosecute Karen and humiliate her.
Yeah. That he was, was kind of ready for either side maybe, and that ready to take out Matt as well. To me,
wait, I don't get what you're saying. I don't get what you're saying here. Like he had said, Karen is going to lure her friends out into the open. Like he wants Karen to. He wants to go after Karen just because of Karen, but he also wants Karen to lure Matt out into court, right?
Right. But when we talked about it, I was just saying I got the opinion that you guys were more like saying it was specifically only for Daredevil, like he wasn't planning for Matt. Maybe I just took it different the way you guys said it. I don't know. I think he was fine with either. I think, but he was at the moment
he has an assassin there. He's going to kill Matt. There's an assassin there ready to kill Matt.
Yeah, I just remember in like the episode before this or whatever, he didn't seem happy when Matt showed up. So I'm not sure that was his ultimate goal, but he had like backup plans. So it didn't really matter that he was going to take either of them out, he thinks. And he thought he did. He was hoping Matt was dead, but Matt is not dead, and Matt is coming back. I really liked a lot of this because of the fact that, like, he can say certain things, and I feel like Fisk is being careful what he says because he knows that, like, he told everybody he was a hero. So he can't, like, come out and just be, like, against Matt, if that makes sense. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I'm thinking about it now as I'm talking about it. Like, it would their conversation. Does what I'm saying make sense? I have such a headache. I don't know if it's coming out right.
He has previously like commended Matt's actions and call him a hero. And so to show up and like he needs to pretend that's all he knows about Matt, right? He's pretending that he only knows Matt as this hero lawyer, not as his arch nemesis also, right?
Right. He can't act like he hates him like I think he'd like to, is kind of what I'm saying. And I like the way they kind of played that dynamic, I guess, in the courtroom. I think it worked really well. But when he comes in, there's all this stuff about them saying that
I hate that guy. I
know, Hochberg, yeah. It's all him and Heather saying that Karen is a psychopath and Karen is a vigilante and all this, which obviously Karen was not a vigilante. But Matt does ask to Heather, I think specifically, does it matter if she didn't have a mask? And she's like, no, she hid behind Daredevil, because she didn't actually have an alter ego. And I find that kind of interesting that he even asked that, because, like, their whole case is based on the fact that they're saying she's a vigilante, right? And to me, like, him expecting her to say, oh yeah, she's still vigilante, like, I kind of, I guess, expected him to sort of prove she wasn't, maybe, was where I thought that was going to go when he asked that. But he totally expected it to be the way it was and was like, okay.
Well, he's the prosecutor. She's his witness. She's a friendly witness.
Right. No, I'm just saying, I thought he was going to argue it a different way. Like, I thought he was going to argue that Karen wasn't a vigilante. I don't know why I thought that. That just was the way I thought he was going to argue the case. But instead he uses it a way to insult her about Fisk. So it worked out. But it wasn't exactly what I expected with that.
Heather really, you can see the way she, like, ties herself up in knots to justify her feelings and her, right? Like, saying, like, she's written this book about people wearing masks, and she says this thing like, oh, Karen doesn't need to hide behind a mask. She's hiding behind Matt. And, like, which I think that is not a true thing to say of Karen, right? But I just feel like Heather, like twists herself around and argues, like, all these angles just to, like, what she needs to have as her little worldview, her hatred of vigilantes, right?
Yeah.
And of course she hates, it's ludicrous because Matt's her ex-boyfriend and Karen's his new girlfriend. And, like, what judge would, like, allow this conflict of interest?
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous that, like, I guess it could happen that somebody's ex is called as a witness for the prosecution. It's never mentioned. It's never brought up, right? Like,
they would have had Kirsten do the cross-examination because of that. I hadn't even thought about that. She's there. She's been doing half the case, and then
it's never mentioned. It's never mentioned.
But Matt takes over right when she comes out. But yeah, you're right. It isn't mentioned. He does.
But this is not a real court anyway. This is not a real court of law. Yeah, it's a TV show, and it's also this ridiculous kangaroo court that Fisk has set up. The rules don't really apply anyway.
Just like he also brought up the fact that she smacked Karen, and, like, nobody batted an eye at that. I mean, she denied it, but they didn't, like. Yeah, I feel like if it was a real case, there would have been more brought up about that.
She wasn't allowed to do the psych eval either.
She never should have been allowed to.
They bring in your boyfriend's ex to do your psych eval.
Yeah, not a smart move there on their part. But I do like that at least the judge is listening, because I did feel like in the other episodes that they were in, it seemed like maybe she wasn't completely on Fisk's side. I mean, she still ended up taking Fisk's side before, but I was glad to know that like I was right, and maybe she wasn't all, just following along. Like she actually listened to what Matt said. So I kind of like that too. Okay, so let's see. So we have the conversations with, let's see. Oh, Matt calls Fisk. Okay, sorry. I'm like behind in pictures. It's been a while since I looked at them. I'm trying to sync up where they're at with my recap.
This is like, okay. Meanwhile, across the street.
Yeah. And I did not, and I said this then too, I didn't pick up on the fact right away that like they were pretending that who was going to shoot him was Bullseye, because I was a little confused. I'm like, why is that guy dressed like Bullseye? And then Bullseye's behind him. And I didn't get, I guess at first, that they were, copying him the whole time and planning to blame him for murdering Matt or Karen or whoever he was going to, shoot. So yeah, I like how they did that though, and how they swapped out Bullseye. And really, they should have figured that was going to happen. But I like how they did it. I guess I was just dumb and didn't pick up on it at the beginning, but
wait,
I like.
You think they should have figured Bullseye would show up and get them?
I wonder that they didn't question it, but then again, they haven't seen him. Do they think he's dead? They might think he's dead, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, my feeling here is that Matt suspected that there'd be an assassination attempt on him, and so he asked Bullseye to back him up, right?
Yeah, and they don't seem to have any security or any really, they're just surprised.
Well, there was a bunch of guys.
They don't have good security, I guess I should say.
Right. And we don't know who he killed, who was downstairs that he killed on his way up to get these guys, right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I like how they swapped him out. And so like all of Fisk, like the whole time this is going on, Fisk's plan is already, a lot of his plan is like already screwed up and he just doesn't know it. So it's kind of funny if you think about it, because they're going through this whole court case and like it's not going to turn out for him no matter what, because his plan's botched and he just doesn't know it yet, because he's going to replace him. All right. So
I think the plan was if Matt shows up, kill Matt. I don't think
blame it on Bullseye.
They would have taken a shot at Karen or anybody else in that courtroom. I think it was really for Matt.
Yeah, but they were definitely, I thought they might have aimed at both. I mean, yes, they're definitely after Matt. I just question they may have tried to get both of them out at the same time. But either way, the plan was to blame it on Bullseye. That's why the guy was dressed as Bullseye, was my point, that I don't know. I was confused when I seen it the first time. I just remember being like, what? Although now that I think about it, wasn't this time that I had no power and I was sitting on my iPad watching it? So that might have been part of it. I was probably why I was a little bit confused there. All right. So he calls in Fisk as his witness, and he gives his speech.
Did you notice in that scene when Fisk walks like down the center aisle of the courtroom, and the way that suit like swishes behind him, almost like a robe, like that suit
a little bit, right? Like
the jacket. You can see it like in that picture you had up before. You can see it like. The motion in it, and it was like I was like, wow, that's ill-fitting, but then I saw how it like swished back and forth. I was like, oh, it's kind of
it kind of is. I mean, look, it's meant to make him appear larger than life and more scary, I guess, to be this big thing. But he gives his speech, and Matt even comments at one point that it was a speech, basically. And and this is kind of where I was saying, like, he's being careful about what he says against Matt, and Matt knows, kind of what to say. Like, he's not like, he's talking about safer streets. He's like, yeah, but they weren't really safer, and you didn't actually stop the assassins. And
he's saying like, is it safer if it's the the task force is like beating up, like there's still a ton of violence out there. Like, is it, you can say it's safer, but we're just getting beaten by the cops instead of by crooks.
Yeah. And it's clear that they're playing to the press still. They're not, more than anything, trying to change public opinion. That's kind of what the whole thing is about. But I guess I'm just saying kind of like I like the way it played out. Like Kingpin sort of played into what Matt's was planning because he didn't say certain things. Like he got him to admit to things like about, the ship and, oh yeah, Daredevil was there. And I think Fisk never actually thought that Matt would reveal his identity. So he was like, oh yeah, and kind of went along with it because he had to without making himself look bad. And then it filled in. This is Daredevil, Born Again, Papa Socks. It was for
that's a picture of 3 task force guys who have come to watch the courtroom proceedings. Yes, and for some reason they wear their body armor like everywhere they go.
To be intimidating, I think, Karen.
Yeah, I think so. I guess you're right. Papa Socks, haven't seen him in a while. Hi.
Yeah, he was I must have been at her film show. I don't know. He was at her other show that you weren't at when Scarlett.
So I agree with you, Jamie. I agree with you. And like Matt knows, we all know that Fisk can't resist a speech, right? And that if you just let him talk, he will bloviate for a while, his self-aggrandizing talk, and like, maybe he'll eventually say something that he shouldn't say. Or it at least doesn't come across that great, right? Like there are just like many politicians in many parts of.
Well, he definitely played into Matt's hands what he was doing. I just really, like I said, overall, I just really, for lack of a better way to describe it, I just really like the way that they did the whole court case, because even like they show, I don't know if I have a picture of the video or not, but when they show I don't think I do have a video, but anyway, they show the video of the first mate on the ship. That is saying that, Kingpin told him to scuttle the ship, to sink the ship, and is blaming him. And I remember when I first watched it at the beginning, I'm like, yeah, but that's not, like, that's just hearsay. There's no proof. And that's what they, argued. He isn't here. He can't argue that. But the thing is it was all part of like the plan, that he wasn't using it for that purpose. Like he was using it in order to say Daredevil was the one who was also there, that he was the witness. But like, he didn't see that. Like Matt was like, 3 steps ahead. Like he had a point to it that nobody saw that point coming. And I guess because I didn't see that coming either, I was just kind of like the way that it worked out, because I kept thinking like, why would they do this? This isn't going to work. But it had nothing to do with that. I mean, that was not the point. The point was he got Fisk to admit that that Daredevil was the witness. And then he also did not expect he was going to reveal himself either, clearly.
No, I think when this court case I think Fisk did know. I mean, there are points in these scenes get really interesting to me when it becomes clear that Fisk knows and Matt knows, and they both know that the other knows what's going to happen here. Like Fisk says more than once, he says things like, "Oh, I welcome going down this path with you."
Mr. You really think he thought he'd do it? I don't really think he thought he'd do it. Okay, fair. I just didn't think, like, I thought they were all kind of like, maybe they thought he might do it, but I feel like they didn't really think it would happen. I don't know. That's how I felt when I watched it the first time.
I think nobody else knew, but Kingpin and Matt are the only people who know this,
did right? Comment on it.
So I guess and what's her name? Whatever that person, Jessica Jones? What's her
Jessica,
name?
yeah.
Like she knows what Matt's going to do, and Karen knows, right? And
I think Karen had started to figure it out. Yeah. But I don't know. I thought maybe they really didn't think it would happen. I thought that he played into it, but I don't know. I guess
thought
he did make some comments. I forgot he did make some comments on it. You're right.
Yeah,
he said,
I thought that was what made this. I thought that was what made this so compelling, that like he knows, and they're like daring each other and dancing around each other through all this. And like Fisk knows, but Fisk truly believes this will be Matt's ruin if he does it, right? Like if you reveal who you are, like it's all over. Like for Fisk, does that eliminate his problem anyway? If Matt reveals that he's Daredevil, is Daredevil done anyway? So
yeah,
right. Yeah. And also by admitting he's Daredevil, he's confessing to a bunch of crimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's also condemning himself in that sense too. Like he's going to get arrested, which I think Fisk
welcomes that. Yeah, Fisk welcomes that happening.
Well, look, so I think. Yeah, I was just going to say that I think the thing is that there was no. there was no easy out for Matt, period. Like Matt was going to screw himself in a way no matter what he did. And he knew that. So like you said,
because it was the only way to bring down the Kingpin and to save Karen.
Yeah. Either way, I liked the way that it kind of unraveled as they went. And yeah, Papa Socks, it was From. I've lately been doing so many shows. I'm like, which show was this? And I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if Kimberly or Bill or any of you guys who were watching it, did you feel that Fisk knew what? Like, I thought, to me, it seemed pretty clear that Matt knew and Fisk knew, and Fisk knew that Matt was gonna.
I don't know. I thought that maybe they didn't, not so much that he didn't know like he could be heading there, but I just thought kind of like maybe they didn't really think he would go through with it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't think he would go through with it. And I was kind of like surprised they actually went there. But yeah, I don't know.
Kimberly is agreeing. Fisk knew, and that Fisk made comments indicating that he knew.
Yeah, he did. I had forgotten that he did say that, like, I welcome that and go ahead. But
he said some other things. He said things like, "You're a fool, Mr. Murdoch." Like he made several comments. He might not have believed, but he knew what Matt was doing. Like Kimberly maybe is with you, Jamie, that maybe you saw it as like he thought Matt might walk right up to that line, but not do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess and that's where I'm saying, like, I'm kind of wondering like where the show can go, because it's going to be such a different show, because I was kind of surprised. Just like earlier in the season, they had the thing where they pulled Matt's mask off, and like, I think Powell was there. I forget who all was there, but they made it like they were going to do that. And then I forget what happened. I think that was when Bullseye showed up, like that moment with the knife and everything. And it was like, they kind of flirted with it, but they didn't really do it. And I guess I'm kind of like, because I don't know the comics, was sort of like, why would they actually do that? Because that's going to completely like change the whole show. But I guess that's the point. And I mean, hopefully they have a good plan for it. But yeah, I think more maybe I was in denial they were going to do it than anything else. But I didn't know that. I don't read any. The only thing I know about the comics, Kimberly, is pretty much what AJ has said when it comes to Marvel comics. I've not delved into any of that. So, can I question? I think I was just going to say, I think the art comes back in August. I think I read.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back in 2026 for sure, Papa.
Yeah, it's this summer. I think it was August. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Nope. We can move on to the next scene.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I said, the video was hearsay, but it was the point that Daredevil was the witness, and therefore he's like, you know, we have a witness because I'm Daredevil.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I think you can use a video like that if the person is dead. And it's funny because the guy is dead, but they don't know he's dead, right? Like
I know, and I don't think they had proof that he was dead or anything.
No, they mentioned that he's missing. They mentioned that he's missing. Nobody knows he's dead except what's his name? Buck, who buried him in the hole, right?
I figure Matt probably suspects he's dead.
Of course. Everyone suspects he's dead. But I'm just saying, I think that would be admissible if the guy is dead. But because he can't be located to testify in person. I don't know if it's hearsay, but it's not. He can't testify to it under oath.
Right. I also, when they did this, though, thought he's saying Daredevil. And this is, I guess, too, where I didn't think he was going to reveal himself. I thought maybe he would like have a video of Daredevil or something, and then be like, well, we could talk to Daredevil, and then like he would go out. I don't know. I guess I'm envisioning like a Clark Kent thing. Like he would be like, well, we'll have Daredevil come to the stand, and then Matt would have to leave for some reason and then come back. Like I didn't realize he was just going to be like, oh no, that's cool. I don't know. That's what I in my head saw happening. That's why I said I was like,
I mean, the point of it being Matt is that like Matt has the credibility. He like Fisk has previously called him a hero, and for Matt to be I am Daredevil like undercuts the whole idea that Daredevil is a criminal because Matt is a hero.
And even Fisk has said he's a hero, and he even got him to say that earlier in the case too. So that way he proved his point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what Matt calculated it that way because he can't really undermine Daredevil as much. It didn't go that way. The arguments didn't go that way on screen, but I mean, it's very calculated to. I mean, to have Daredevil come in and testify wouldn't do anything because you can't testify and not have a name and testify to your identity and make an oath, right? Like you can't come into court and
I hadn't thought about that.
Like I can't tell you my name, but trust me when I testify.
Yeah. Well, I guess we don't usually see superheroes, I guess, in court, do we? So no, I don't know. I guess I just didn't expect them to actually have it happen. I don't know that what I'm saying makes any sense, that like now that I'm thinking about it, like that wouldn't have worked. But I guess somehow in my mind, I thought there was a way that he was going to like be the witness, but not actually be like, oh, it's me. So I don't know. I did enjoy it.
Well, I mean, he could because it's a comic book show, so anything can happen.
True. But there's Bullseye getting all the assassins. They're out of the way. All the men, killing them all. But yeah, Matt, this is where Matt's like, I'm Daredevil. And I really liked when he did this, the way they all wait. I'm sorry. I take that. I'm too far back in the pictures. This is where he's whispering to Matt while Matt's talking to the judge about the videotape and letting it into evidence and everything. Let's see. We get a little further where he does it. Here's where he because it was when the light came on. What did you think of Heather's response? Like, to me, she almost looked like, oh yeah, this is bullshit. Like he's just.
Yes, she did. Absolutely. I thought they all. When he's like, I am Daredevil, she's like, oh, this guy is so pathetic. Right?
Yeah.
She's just the worst. Yeah,
she is. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, well, she's going to be surprised in a minute, right? Definitely. They stole that from Iron Man. You mean like when he was like, I am Iron Man? Kind of, yeah. I didn't even think about that. They did do that in Iron Man, didn't they? I'm saying they're not going to do that. I forgot they did that in Iron Man. He's Iron Man. Yeah, they did do that. I forgot they did that. Okay. Well, maybe I just should have thought of it.
I forgot about that too, but
yeah, I did too. But anyway, Fisk is kind of like, he did it, and Jessica's happy, but Karen, see, to me, and this is kind of what I mean, like, I think that Karen knew where he was going, but I still think that there was a part of Karen that was like, oh my God, he really did it. At least that's what I thought from her expression said. Like, she was kind of like, he just did that. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it can't be taken back now. The cat's out of the bag. Like, it was sort of like a shock.
I mean, she also does seem to be like kind of, there's another shot of her where she's kind of like looking really excited. You've got a shot of her where she's stunned here, but I mean, I think we got to remember that if anybody doesn't want, like, Karen's in love with him and she'd probably rather go to jail herself than see him go.
Yeah. And I think she probably sees where this is going to lead. Like he's going to get her free, but yeah, he's going to end up in prison for a while. So, which I think is why probably the ending isn't great. Like why I didn't like the ending, probably why you didn't like the ending. Because to me, it was kind of annoying because it's like the guy that we hate. Yeah, he went to prison, but so did the hero. And it's kind of like, or no, he didn't even go to prison. He got away. Like bad guy got away. And
he goes into exile in a ridiculous turn of events that we will discuss.
Yeah.
He goes into exile.
Yeah. Anyway, I did like when Matt pulled out his cane. I thought he had the nunchucks. I didn't realize it was his cane right away. And they're like, I think it was Hawksbird said something like, really, a blind lawyer? And he's like, and then everybody knew he's telling the truth.
He said something like, really, Daredevil is a blind guy. I don't think he says lawyer, right? But he does. You're right. Like and Matt just whips that out and throws it around the room. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then catches it, and then they know it's like true. So yeah, he goes through the whole thing of, he was smuggling weapons. And the whole thing is he basically gets the case. There's where she's happy. He basically gets the case thrown out because they're not the place that should be judged because it's not impartial because of this.
They had this moment that we've sped over a little bit where after Matt reveals who he is and he says, did you smuggle guns, blah, blah. I think in the watch party, I wrote in the chat, you can't handle the truth. Like he goads he goads, if you've seen I felt it was, that's from A Few Good Men. And I felt it was kind of really similar where he kind of goads Kingpin Fisk into saying these things so that they are both, like, he reveals his own guilt because of his anger and his ego, I think, right?
Yeah. But yes, anyway, they get the case dismissed because, like I said, not even necessarily did he prove that Karen was innocent. He just proved the fact that, like, Fisk was in everybody's pockets and was controlling the court, and therefore that they couldn't be the one to decide her fate. And it dismissed it because also the whole charge was a farce anyway, which since the at that point, the public was more on their side.
Is it a farce? Like, she was charged with being a vigilante, and, like, is she a vigilante? I mean, she's didn't
actually kill anybody or hurt anybody, did she? I'm trying to think. I'm thinking back. Like, what did she
get out of some people?
I'm trying to. That's why I'm trying to remember during the season. Like, did she beat people up and stuff? I didn't think she did, but maybe she did, and I'm misremembering.
She's also a henchman, and a lot of times in the eyes of the law, if you aid and abet, she's not really charged with aiding and abetting a vigilante.
No,
she's not being a vigilante, but I'm not sure it's a total bullshit charge. It's a bullshit court. It's a bullshit charge in that being a vigilante is not a thing, right?
Right. Also, this whole case, like the whole courtroom has been for all of these cases.
It's a kangaroo court.
Yeah, controlling them. Yeah, so it gets thrown out. Either way, it's dismissed. So she is, she's out, and then the governor too comes in, and she's like, I'm closing the ports.
That was a great moment that we glossed over earlier, where the court is in session and she comes in late. And this is another part of the plan. She's supposed to, let me finish, Jamie. She's supposed to be dead, right? She's supposed to have been killed by that assassin that was by the lieutenant governor, right? And she shows up, and it's like this moment when Fisk is realizing that, like, this part of his plan has gone wrong.
Yeah, his whole plan,
right?
Yeah. He thought that he still had that everything was where it should be, and the whole. I mean, I don't know that he knows yet that the other assassins have been changed, but he definitely expected her to be dead because he sent somebody after her. But not work out as planned. And she's like, I'm gonna close the court, and I think what else does she say? Or not close the court, close the port. Sorry, put it under government control. And she says, this is the part where you resign, because she says your assassin lived, and he's gonna confess that you hired him. Yeah, and he's already pissed because of her. What I question here, and this is what I meant to ask Jen. I can't remember if I asked her or not though. When Kingpin Fisk, he says here in the scene, and it kind of seemed like out of place, like I didn't understand what it was referring to, and I think it's probably to something from the comics, where he says, interesting to see who you've lined yourself with, Miss Jones. Like, so he obviously has some kind of, I don't want to say connection with Jessica, but he knows something. I don't know. What did you think of that scene? Because it definitely, I was kind of like scratching my head, like, what was that about?
I mean, she's a vigilante in New York also, right? Like, why wouldn't he know who she is?
No. Not that he know who she is. When he said, it's interesting who you've aligned yourself with. Like, I mean, I assumed that he knew she was already hanging out with Daredevil. So I don't know. That line to me confused me exactly what he meant. And I didn't know if it was something from the comics or what.
I mean, it could, it could, like.
Or maybe he's just saying, don't align yourself with Daredevil. I mean, maybe that was all that meant. I don't know. To me, it seemed like maybe it meant something.
I haven't watched the previous show, so I don't know how much she hung out with Daredevil before this. Or is it a surprise for her to show up and help Daredevil and come to court?
She was not here before.
What?
She was not. She hasn't been in this. She was in the original. I think she might have been in the original 3 seasons, but she hasn't been in this.
No, she hasn't been in this. But I'm saying I didn't watch the previous, so I don't know if she
I don't think she was. Since I didn't watch it all, I don't know. But
I mean, he could also be referring to her like association with I don't know, because Luke is associated with Charles and all that, but yeah. I don't think so. I think it's really he's like, oh, it's interesting you decided to align yourself with Daredevil. And even if she knew him before, this is a pretty public support showing up in his courtroom, right? Showing up at his hearing and supporting him really pretty publicly.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Yes, we're on.
So I think maybe that's what that means. I think maybe that's what he's getting at. Like, oh,
maybe I was putting too much into it than it actually was. All right. So this is when he's gonna fall through with what his plan is, and Matt hears Bullseye say wrong bullseye, and knew that he had killed everybody probably, and that he's about to shoot Fisk instead of him. So yeah, what do you, to begin with, earlier Fisk had said, and I forgot to say this, like before they left the court, he said, you've won nothing, Mr. Murdoch, which is partially because he probably knows he's going to, number one, be arrested, but also he still thinks his guy is going to kill him. So,
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, he still had his assassin there. He didn't know he'd been replaced yet at this point. This is where that happened.
But when he says you've won nothing, Mr. Murdoch, I think it's because he expects he's going to go free and maybe even retain control of New York.
True. Yeah, that too. But let me ask you though, whenever this came up and he knows now his assassin has been replaced, what do you think about this? Because I kind of find this interesting. Like the whole thing was that Matt before was
I don't think he knows him. I don't think he knows his assassin has been replaced.
No, Fisk definitely doesn't. But this is where Matt figures it out because he hears Bullseye say wrong bullseye whenever he tells Powell to have them shoot Matt. I'm just saying, what did you think about this though? Because if I hadn't really thought about it before, but I'm thinking about it now, is that the whole thing between Matt and Bullseye was that he stopped Bullseye from killing Fisk. And then Bullseye did his one good deed. And now Bullseye's like back to ready to kill Fisk again. Not that he didn't, deserve it. He was going to shoot Matt. But I don't know. What do you think about the fact that Bullseye was like ready to kill Fisk again? I don't know that I think anything of it. I was just kind of curious if you had any thoughts on that because it was so much like about stopping this originally and him talking Bullseye out of killing Fisk. And now like it's kind of circled back around.
I didn't think anything of it until you just mentioned it. I mean, Daredevil. Let me complete this. Blind Spot is barely even a person. He has zero personality, and his whole like, I need to like redeem myself or whatever. To me, is like, who even is this guy? Like, I couldn't even remember his name because he's so just a blue suit that walks around and kills people. Like, he has no personality. He has no backstory. He has no, not to my knowledge. I don't know if he came out of the earlier seasons. And so his whole redemption arc, like, I'm not surprised that he failed because it was bullshit from the start. And I really feel bad because I don't care about him.
Okay, I guess I felt like he was maybe listening to Matt at one point, I guess. And now he's clearly is like over that. So it's just interesting. I hadn't even, like I said, I hadn't thought about it when I watched it before. I just thought about it now as we're talking about it.
I didn't think of it either until you just said it.
Yeah. But it's just kind of interesting because they spent the whole season with him trying to, stop him and get him to not do that and him to make up for doing that. And then it's kind of like it ended up circling back around there. Although I don't think Bullseye is going to go around. I'm assuming the point isn't for him to go around killing other people. He is going to go and work for the government in some fashion, maybe. But he's still wanted to revenge on Fisk, which he should want revenge on. Get it?
I also am not sure Matt ever bought his like guilt, I'm sorry routine, and Karen definitely didn't believe him.
No, Karen definitely didn't believe him, but
I don't think Matt believed him. Matt didn't really care about him because of him. Matt cared about him because of Matt's own impetus to do what he has to do.
Yeah, Matt felt he had, and he even said that to him, like, I need to forget, like, need to be forgiven for what I did, and that it was more about Matt than about him. I don't know. It's just interesting. But either way, he once again stops. Technically, Buck stopped Fisk from being killed, but Matt warned them, so he still was partially to do with that. But Buck jumps in front of Fisk when Bullseye shoots, and he ends up shooting Buck instead. And they come up trying to get everything.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't have minded if Fisk got killed and died. I wouldn't really have minded if Buck died, but I guess Buck is going to be part of Heather's storyline next season. So ultimately, it was just a false nothing. It was like a dramatic nothing in the end.
Yeah. But they got the press to change sides, but he still tries to get them on his side. But then that's whenever BB's video comes out.
Well, I think that he
he's trying.
Get them on his side.
Like.
He's making one of his speeches, but I think he believes that he has a chance. Because the thing is, what makes him so dangerous is that he's a true believer and believes the stuff that he's saying. He believes, like he really does think that he loves New York and that New York is better.
Yeah, it's clearly not. But
and that it's like and that's all for their own good.
Yeah. But BB's report, her thing comes out and kind of pushes it back over to the other side. If there was a chance, it's gone. And all the people dressed like Daredevil, it's getting the regular people in on the fight. Jessica brings them a suit, and I know I'm going slow. I'm sorry. That's why I said my head hurting so bad. I feel like I'm talking slow too.
People take to the streets. It's like a very V for Vendetta, right? I could see like a lot of influences in this episode from a lot of different. I mean, I've mentioned like we've mentioned like 3 or 4 other movies and shows that were evidenced here, right? And to me, and I think somebody commented in the watch party, this was like a very V for Vendetta kind of thing happening here.
It was, but everybody is now fighting, and they've all turned against him. And he this is where Cherry tries to stop, to get them to let the people through, and for the task force to stop. And it's interspersed with this. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll go back to this.
Okay.
I really liked this where I never remember this guy's name, but where little white tiger there stepped up and she talks about him killing her uncle, and he's like, "Oh, you told me that he pushed the cop off the whatever it was off the platform," and he knows she's telling the truth by the way Powell responds. Powell's just like, I told you, shoot him. Like, he's just like he usually is, just bossing everybody around. And that guy finally realizes like that this whole thing has been bullshit and that they played him, and then he knocks him out. So I really liked how that, and even after how like him and Daredevil, when they go in the prison, they're like, acknowledging each other, like acknowledging that he flipped sides.
It was a good callback to a long ago piece of story that finally now is paying off.
Yes.
That guy was killed so long ago, like you almost forget that it was a setup, right?
Yeah. But I like that they brought it back around.
Me too.
And then there's scenes with Sheila telling him to take the deal from the whoever it was, attorney general or whatever, giving him the deal, and he refuses to do it. And it's like, I thought you were on my side, and she's like, I'm on the mayor's side, the mayor's office or something like that, which he is not going to be pretty soon.
What?
Knows. He says something to her like that she was on his side before, and he says something like,
Wait, who is he? Who is he and her? Who's he and her? You've got a picture of these guys up here.
I said Sheila. You weren't looking. I said Sheila. It's the whole scene with her telling him to take the deal, and he thought she was still on his side, and she says she's on the like something like the mayor's side or the office of the mayor's side, and he's not going to be there anymore. Come out. So, and that I think leads into the movies and everything of what's coming, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so everybody starts battling. Fisk has lost, but Fisk will not accept he has lost. He will not accept the deal. He will not stop. He just starts, attacking everybody outright, punching people in the face. Some of them probably kill him the way he beats them. I'm assuming is implying.
I didn't really, I thought that was kind of bullshitty. I'm like, really? Now he's just out there. He's murdered like 25 people, right?
Yeah.
Like, what?
And
like, what is that?
And maybe that's kind of why it irritated me too, that they give him the deal, because it's like they're still giving him this deal to get him out of New York.
All right,
and it's like he murdered all these people and they just like kind of ignore it.
It's also a very stupid deal, because I believe the deal is that, doesn't she say to him, you have to renounce your citizenship and leave the country, which is like, first of all, it's so hard. It is so hard to do. Although our current president is trying to strip more people of their citizenship, but it's actually not that easy, and it's like fully outside the authority of the New York authorities, and then to do that. I was like, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah, they really couldn't let him off, especially after he does all this. But it's Daredevil. I like this scene. Like, I like the way it played out, and I think this whole thing was exciting. But I also, at the same time, do think that there was a lot of excessive violence we really didn't need. But I still liked the scene. I don't know. What did you think? I thought it might have irritated you, because I know you complain a lot of times about the excessive violence.
I'm a little desensitized to the violence on this show. But I just thought it was BS. I mean, I know that part of it is like his rage. Right, he's enraged, and he's definitely enraged at people who like don't agree with him, like you know. But the idea that he just comes out there and just beats like 20 people to death in these scenes is just ridiculous to me. And there's no effort by anyone at all to restrain him, to stop him. First of all, it's New York City. I know it's not the easiest place to get a gun, but 0 of these people have a gun on them.
Yeah, I know. I remember you saying
has a gun, right?
Yeah,
Daredevil is some version of New York where like nobody has a gun. And none of the authorities, none of the task force who've come around, nobody makes the slightest effort to
even any security in the courthouse either. Like, nobody had.
It was very video game, where like you're having all your army come against a superior, right? Like, it looked really video game-ish to me. Not like it.
Yeah, I still I still thought it looked cool, and like at the time was like exciting. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I don't know. It was definitely over the top. That's for sure. But I still thought it was very exciting, and I did enjoy this part, regardless of the fact that I was also at the same time thinking like, this is kind of dumb, but it's fun, but it's dumb, you know.
It's kind of horrifying, and yet
it is that too. But I mean, it's also kind of fun. Like, I mean, like I said, it's like it's action, but it's also like excessive violence. If we're honest, we really didn't need.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he comes out to everybody, sees that everybody's still against him. I don't remember what he said in that moment, but that's a great picture.
He said, "Don't cry for me, Argentina."
Yeah, exactly. And they're not listening. Anyway, Matt's trying to hold him back because I don't know if he's afraid that the mob's going to kill Fisk, or he's afraid that Fisk is going to hurt more people. I wasn't totally sure with that, but he's trying to stop them from fighting each other, and trying to hold them back. But they all rush up, and Fisk just like starts throwing them off the balcony because he's probably stronger than he should be, but he starts knocking everybody down. And then they do attack him, the big mob of people, and Daredevil stops them and is like, don't do this, and pulls them off and stops. And then this is where he's telling Fisk, take the deal. If you go to prison, you're going to lose the memory of your wife. Like, you won't be able to, which I don't know that makes tons of sense, but I guess he meant like he wouldn't be able to have her things.
He said you'll be locked away from her memory, and you and I discussed it, and I still don't understand it. Like her memory is in his mind and in his heart. Like, I still don't understand it.
The only thing I can think of that it means to me is like that he's going to lose the things that remind him of her, but that is a dumb statement. I agree with you, but that's what he says. And he says, this thing will start all over again. And he's like, I do believe you love New York. And, but he kind of also says like, we both screwed it up and like, we can't fix it. And he's trying to fix it. He's like, even if we want to fight, but if we stop, we can at least give the city peace. And this is where he says like, I don't care. This is your retribution. It means nothing to me. And then this kind of wraps. I did like that this wraps back around to what we had talked about earlier in the season, where he says, what about grace? So he's offering him this out. And that's where he says, you're not allowed to offer that to me. Because I think he too doesn't like that, like Matt's like taking the high road, I guess. Like, he wants Matt to fight him, right? He wants to beat him the shit up and wants him to keep fighting back. But he's like, no,
I think because
that's how I feel with that.
I think he feels Matt is presenting a kind of moral superiority.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And
right?
He did not want to accept it, but he eventually did accept it. And like I said, I feel like sort of, and I'm more so now that I'm going over this again than I was like last week. I'm really disappointed, I guess, with the ending, just because it's like I said, the bad guy got away and didn't get punished, and like our hero got punished. And like in real life, they both would have been punished. I know it's not real, but it's kind of like you want the hero to win. And I know it's setting up a bigger season with Matt in prison and all that, a bigger storyline. But yeah, I was just kind of a little disappointed with the way they ended it. It was like a big lead up, and then he lets him go, and yeah.
And I get what you mean, that it's about that they did set up a bigger storyline, but like I didn't get like emotional satisfaction out of this at all.
Right.
Part of this, right? There's nothing for me to be satisfied with for the next year and a half while I wait for this show.
Right. And I feel like Matt, I guess, did what he felt was right. I mean, he got his moment of, I'm forgiving you and I'm letting you live or whatever, because that's what Matt needed to do for Matt. But for a viewer, it was very unsatisfying. And I feel like it irritates me more now than it did last week. I don't know why. Like when we talked about this last week, like I really liked the finale and I still like the finale overall, but I'm like, now I'm kind of like, I don't like the ending. I like it less than I liked it then. I don't know.
Because you had time to sit with it and think about it.
Yeah, I had time to sit with me. And it now is kind of like, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't a good ending. And like I said, I know that the point is setting it up, but I would have liked a different ending. I guess I just would have at least liked Matt not to be in prison. Even if Kingpin got away, like I don't really like the fact that they arrested him when he's done things. I mean, he is a vigilante. He has done things, but he's the good guy. At least in our eyes. I know he's not really, and he's done a lot of bad things, but I just mean like as he's the hero, and
but Matt wants to atone for his sins, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that they followed through on that. I do.
It ends, I think, with Matt in a jail cell, right? Like laying down in a jail cell is how it ends. And like,
well, first they have their date, but yeah.
They come and get him, yeah. But Matt wants to atone, right? Like Matt's okay with going to jail.
Yeah, I think Matt is not, I don't want to say happy, but yeah, he's satisfied in the end, even if we aren't. And that's why I said I do appreciate that they came back around with that, and like he's giving him this grace and this forgiveness, which is what the whole season's been about. So even if I wasn't like emotionally satisfied, I do appreciate
he gave Fisk forgiveness.
Well, not forgiveness. He gave him grace, and it's not. Yeah, I said that wrong, but he says he gave him grace, but he moved on and he's taking the high road, like you said. It's what Matt needs to do for Matt. It's not about Kingpin. It's about him. But yeah, so Matt's okay with it, and he's turning himself in, letting himself be arrested. And going to prison for it. We also have this little scene in between with Jessica seeing Luke and their kind of reunion, which I was happy they at least brought Luke in, even if it wasn't for very long.
Yeah, I figured you guys all really liked that. I, of course, did not care.
Yeah, I know, because you didn't watch it. I also
I knew who he was. I knew who he was, but,
Yeah. I also kind of felt like this was the start of a swan song for Daredevil. This is why I also wonder, like, if season 3, and maybe it was already said to be the last season, and I'm not remembering that, but especially with the identity thing, it does seem like this might be the last one we're going to get.
I mean, 3 seasons is a lot for Marvel.
It is. And Kelly, you're right. He hasn't done anything worse than the Vigilantes. I think that Matt wanted Karen free, and that was the main thing. That's true, too. That was kind of the whole point of what he did. So he got what he needed.
I agree.
And then we have BB, who is being hired to work in her uncle's job. And we talked about the papers that were up there. He gives her all her uncle's articles and stuff, Ben Ulrich. And so it's kind of she's finally gotten where she was trying to go, maybe not in
Yeah.
the happiest way, but she's going to get to work for the paper. And then there's a little thing with the whole investigations and closing
her investigation firm,
which was from the original series.
Yeah.
And then we have Matt in prison. And like I said, I like that not Powell, the other guy acknowledged him. Then we have this really stupid scene with Muse, with her with the Muse mask.
Oh my God. Worst scene in television in 2026.
Yeah. This was bad.
And
she's like all in her perfect version there in the mirror while she's wearing that crazy mask. So
yeah, I said it on the show. We've talked about it. As soon as I saw that mask in the drawer in episode like 3 or whatever that was, I remember saying, "Oh, I think she's going to dissociate and become Muse." I'm told there was a the internet tells me it was a Lady Muse arc in the comics, and AJ mentioned, well, in the comics, Muse is supernatural, not just like a straight up serial killer. So I really have very little interest in seeing Heather become a vigilante. Is she going to become a vigilante? Is that what she's going to do with this mask? Is she going to become a serial killer? I don't really think she's going to become a serial killer, right?
Really? That's kind of where I figured it was going, because I think she's just nuts at this point.
But I guess, I don't really see, she's not giving me serial killer vibes. I mean,
but you think she's going to be a vigilante though, but doesn't that make her what she hates if she does?
Well, yeah, right. Which, I mean, yeah, it makes her what she hates. Like
which is maybe the problem, right?
Right. Like but it makes her feel strong probably to wear this mask. So we'll see. Kimberly says she's going to be anti-vigilante, so she'll be like out there masked anti-vigilante hunter.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
If she wears the mask, she becomes what she hates. You're absolutely right.
Right, but that to me, if she's going against vigilantes, that to me at least actually makes a little bit more sense than what I was envisioning, which was more just her becoming like Muse. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I've had enough of Heather. I mean, the actress is doing a fine job, but I'm over the character. I don't want.
I am, and I commented like when she throat punched that guy in the episode.
Yeah.
Wait, she doesn't have powers. She doesn't fight. And somebody in the chat said, well, maybe she went to self-defense class. Went to self-defense classes after she was attacked, right? That was you who said that. Thank you. But I mean, she's a pretty, like, it's not believable to me that she would be a fighter at the level of she would need to be an anti-vigilante. So we'll see. But it's a comic book, so you can go to 3 classes and then be like a black belt.
True, but they have a lot of shows shown. I feel like that move is like a move they've learned in self-defense. That's why I automatically was like, well, that to me, I could see it. But I agree, to be an anti-vigilante and to be able to fight well, that I don't know that I agree with. But we'll see how it goes. And there's Matt.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know if I can watch this show next year. We'll see. I can't watch a show about Heather. I don't think I can watch a show about Heather.
Maybe they'll kill her right away. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be great. All right, I'll watch it. Maybe they'll kill her.
Fisk is on his beach and Matt is in prison. But you're right. He isn't. He seems okay with it. So I guess that's what it's about.
Yep.
All right. Let me switch over to Widow's Bay.
How did Jen like it? Did Jen love it?
She liked it. I think she knows what's coming though, so I feel like she's got a different take on it because she knows what's coming and I don't. We didn't really talk about specifically what was in the comics.
Well, I mean, because she's a big fan of the comics, she's a big fan of all the shows in this franchise, right?
I think she enjoyed it. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I feel like more like the first time. I seem to be like less. Now I don't like it as much as I did. So I feel like I was more positive about it too when I watched it. So who knows if she still feels like that, but
all right.
Let me.
Well, thanks. That was a long haul, everyone, but it was the finale. So we had to get a little deeper into it.
I'm trying to, like I said, I feel like I'm moving in slow-mo because my head's.
Well, and you do tend to sometimes provide more photographs than we need.
Yeah, I should have went through and deleted some of them. All right,
Widow's Bay. Welcome to Widow's Bay.
Yes, hold on. I got to open my other file here. I got the wrong file open. Give me 1 sec. Okay.
This show is weird.
Yes.
And not just because like creepy supernatural stuff is happening. Like the show is the writing and the staging and the costumes and the character. Everything is weird in this show. That I sometimes am like, what is this really happening or not happening sometimes?
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing, Papa, I was just going to say was I think Daredevil and his reveal of who he was, I think was like such a big thing supposed to be that it was. And that's why I said, I don't know. I found it more exciting the first time. I found less exciting this time.
Not that show. I mean, this show is weird.
No. I just was answering what Papa Sock said. I was just saying.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I found it more exciting the first time I watched it. Going over it now, I was just kind of like, I'm annoyed by the end. So it was less exciting for me.
Yeah.
All right. So they're watching their Widow's Bay Historical Society productions. I just think it's weird the way they showed him at the.
Well, yeah. What's that about? Like at the end of it, he goes and stands in the corner. Like, what is with that?
I don't know. Some of the things I feel like are just really bizarre. And is there a point, or are they just supposed to be bizarre? I don't know. But I still like it, even if there isn't necessarily a point to some of the bizarreness. I like it. So it is, I don't know if they actually tell what it is. I want to say it's Founders Day, and I don't think that's right. I don't know why that's even in my head.
It's like the beginning of summer, and they just got this article in the newspaper.
Like inaugural swim.
Tons of tourists are showing up.
Yes, it is going to be
about.
Inaugural swim to kick off the summer. Yes. So yeah, he does this, I guess, every year. They do this as the summer kickoff, and like Patricia is going to have a cocktail party after the swim and everything. So he's just, getting it all together. And then on the way to work, he runs into this woman that he likes and picks her up and takes her there because he is the mayor. He's helping her find where she's going. She was staying at the inn. There's, I think, a conversation at one point that she was with the wedding party, going to wedding. I don't remember exactly what she said.
No, she says she's come to the island for a bachelorette party. Her name is, what's her name? Her name is Marissa. I mean, he's been single. He's been widowed for like 17 years. On his own, and he likes this lady.
Yeah, he clearly likes her, and she clearly likes him and is flirting with him. But he's
as much as he can like someone he saw on the street for 2 minutes, right? But
he's attracted to her.
Yeah, you know why he's attracted to her? We all know why he's attracted to her. We're going to find out.
That's what I wanted to talk about, because I think that this episode said she's not the hag. Like, I think it was kind of implying that she was actually just somebody who liked him, because he shoots the thing at the end and she explodes. I don't think that was supposed to be her, but maybe I took it differently than you did, because I know we had a little bit of this conversation. I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I feel like they showed her fingernails so much that you really need to see if Marissa has the nails in these shots. They showed the Sea Hag's fingernails multiple times, and I'm like, that's a pretty modern fingernail for a hag from 1864 or whatever. But I don't think we're going to see her.
I didn't notice, so I can't. I didn't notice I noticed when they showed the hag's fingernails, but I didn't notice them being more modern. I didn't even think about that. It looks like Kimberly was confused too. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that it was saying that she actually wanted to date him, but he was so scared that he thought she was the hag. But I guess since we don't see her again after Wick kills her, we don't really know. I guess is the answer to that.
Well, the episode ended very shortly thereafter, so we don't really know.
And that's again, like I said, part of what I like about this show, though, is that it is very vague and you don't really know if it really happened or not. A lot of it, like, it keeps kind of, straddling that balance. I feel like it does it really good. That you're not entirely sure. And clearly, if we're saying different things, then we're not entirely sure either.
I don't know. I feel like after this episode, I'm sure, but we'll see. So anyway, she gets in the car with a stranger and goes down.
Well, he's like, I'm the mayor. See him on the flyer.
Yeah, just because you're the mayor doesn't make you not a criminal. We just did covered a whole show where the mayor was a murderous maniac.
Very true. Very true. Very true. But this is a very, very small island town. But either way, he gives her a ride there. And when he's at work, they kind of get mad at him a little bit there because I forget exactly what the conversation is, but he doesn't even like help. Oh, he never helped. That's who it was. Patricia said that she had I think it was Patricia, said that she had needed help from him when she had a flat tire, and like he didn't even help, and like he never takes Ruth and picks her up.
They get very weirdly into this discussion about like how he met this woman and gave her a ride, and they're like, "Who is she? How old was she?" Right? Like they really.
Yeah. I don't know if the point was just to say like he's very inconsiderate, but because he was flirting with this girl, he took the time. I was kind of how I took it. Yeah, but the fact that they're so like insulted by this is a little weird, and just more to do with I think how weird the characters are. But I enjoy it. But yeah, Patricia's like, you never would help me. You don't give Ruth a ride home, who walks to work, and she's like whatever 70, 80. I don't know how old she is. So yeah, they are kind of chastising him for doing this, and they know that he probably likes her. And the kind of the story through line of that goes through, you know, the whole episode of him wanting to go out with her and missing messages from her and them not telling her. There's kind of that going on. There's Ruth. So I think he says that he'll take her home, and she's like, no, but he never really, I don't think, wanted to drive her anywhere anyway. He just wanted to take that lady out. So he goes to the bar to meet her. She doesn't show up. So he goes home after that and talks to his kid.
Yeah,
I have the thing that he. Oh, okay, this I see why that wasn't at the bar. This is where he goes to the bar, because on the way home from the bar, he sees this old woman, and this is, you know, the hag.
Well, because what he did was he said to this woman, like, I'm going to be at this place later. If you go there, you'll see me, right? It's not like a date. It's a sort of date, right? Yeah. And the kid is supposed to be grounded. Well, this kid is supposed to be always grounded. Like, I would just like to say that anybody, all these from people criticizing Tabitha, this guy is not a very effective parent.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. He's not good at punishing his kid. The kid keeps doing what he wants, and he doesn't really follow through very well, does he? He's like, you're grounded, and the kid sneaks off, and well, he snuck off again. At any rate, you're right. It was a kind of date. But when he comes out, he sees this old woman in the middle of the road that he freaks out about. And he tries to, he at first, it looks like she disappears. He doesn't see her. Like he turns around, like, where is she? And then she's gone. And he's like, it's okay. And then she's there, and she scratches his arm. See, I don't know. To me, I can't even see nails. So I don't know. It just looks like a hag's hand to me. I don't really see
pink manicured fingernails.
I don't know what you're seeing. I don't see it, but maybe it's because it's
Look, they're going to show it multiple times throughout the episode.
Of the hag's nails? Or you mean of the woman's nails?
They focus on the hag's nails many times.
Okay. Well, there I can't see it. And I think I have a picture of it later. At least I didn't notice it. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying I didn't notice they were supposed to be pink. So anyway, he does see that she's still there, and she does scratch him. So now he's kind of scared a little bit. He still does not believe everything, but it's clear that he's been affected by the stuff that Wick has said, and that he's a little worried. But he calls the sheriff to tell him about this woman that he found, that he saw, so they can, try to find her, so she's not just like wandering around in the middle of the road. But they don't end up finding anybody. And whenever he goes to the doctor, who's also oh no, never mind. I don't know why I was thinking he does autopsies too. So I'm right. He's the mortician and the town doctor, which is kind of funny, but it's a little teeny tiny town. He does everything. But he tells him it looks like an animal attacked him. And this is kind of more playing on him getting a little more worried about it. And Rosemary, back when they're in the office, there's Rosemary, tells him the story about the legend of the sea hag, and he's starting to look. He doesn't believe, but he does. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to not believe, but he's still scared. But she says that the sea hag scratches her victims and uses the blood under her nails to track them down and kill them later. So she's going to end up coming back.
She gets your scent under her nails, right?
Under her nails, yes, the skin and everything. And we'll track him later. So like he's not safe, even though he got away. And she's like, you got to take this seriously, because Tom still is kind of like blowing it off, like, oh, it's just an old tale and it doesn't mean anything. But he does for right now dismiss it. And the thing that he does that it's like, why don't do that? That he shouldn't have done anyways. Okay, so he's not willing to cancel his inaugural swim because, he's trying so hard to like make this town what he envisions of a place that everybody's going to come to and everything else. And even though the doctor tells him don't go in the water with that scratch or whatever, he goes into the water. And I remember thinking that bacteria, like that is not a good thing to do.
No, salt water is actually pretty, I think the salt helps.
The salt can help, but there could be bacteria in the water.
It's a long-standing tradition in the town. It's not just like he thought, right? They've been doing this for like decades or centuries, the inaugural swim. Yes. And so there's a lot of, oh my God, sorry. There's a lot of pressure on him to do this, right? Plus all these new, as you said, all these new tourists that read the Times article and now are showing up.
Yes. I was just going to say, I'm surprised that there isn't like an alternate or something, because I feel like over the years, at one point something could have happened that they'd have to have somebody else go in the water. B says it has a Twin Peaks vibe.
It does.
Yeah. I didn't watch Twin Peaks.
I think it has a very Jaws vibe to it. Sheriff in Jaws, the sheriff of a small town. Nobody will listen to him when he says there's danger. Not just this episode, definitely this episode because of the swimming, but in general, I'm getting that like very Jaws. Jimmy, have you seen Jaws? I know you don't watch a lot of.
No, yeah, I've seen Jaws.
And I've seen Jaws. The like foreboding in the town, and the mayor of the town won't listen. The mayor, like Roy Scheider, is like trying to tell the mayor, and the mayor's like, no, we got tourists coming. And it's 4th of July weekend, and there's too much money at stake, right? He's totally the mayor, boss.
Yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I see that. Samuel said that he thought Jaws too, and also said the hotel gave me 1408 vibes. I had not thought of that until you said that, Samuel, but I kind of see that now that you said that. Have you seen that movie with
No, I've never heard of it.
It's with I can't think of his name. The guy the love story where he holds the boombox. I can't think of the guy's name.
I might have seen that. John Cusack. Yeah. John Cusack movie. They're in a motel. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a twist. That's a good movie. I like that movie. But I can see that now that you said that. It's kind of like that hotel. And yes, it's Papa Socks. It is very quirky in that way. I mean, I haven't even I have not seen Twin Peaks, but it's definitely got that weird quirky vibe of the town, and I really like it. That's why I like the character so much. So he's gonna go out for his swim. I don't remember what the thing, he was waiting for that guy, right? And then like he turned around and went back on the bike. I can't remember exactly. I don't know that it was even important.
Yeah, that guy's supposed to be hooking up. Remember, the power goes out, and this guy is supposed to be doing something to fix the power. And Tom can't give his like speech over the microphone, and this guy's riding his bike.
Yeah, and he's waiting for him to go, and then he turns back around, and like he's taking forever, and it's like meant to be funny. And look, there's a lot of like little funny moments like that. I found a lot of this show funny. Like I said, it's not really like ha funny, but it's funny. I found myself laughing a good bit, chuckling at a lot of it. But there they are in the beach. If I remember rightly, he's kind of looking out to see if that woman's there too, if she's watching. So he's trying to be all brave too. I felt like that was part of why he went through with it too, because he thought she might be there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna go out regardless. And I don't know. I just was thinking of like all those horror stories you hear about, like where people get like the bacteria stuff in their brain because they go in the water. You're right, it is salt water. I hadn't thought of that, but I don't know. That's what it made me think of. I'm like, he's gonna get some kind of weird, like, I know that's not what it's about, but that's what it made me think of, like that thing is gonna get infected. So he goes out to the buoy and he's like, oh, I made it, and kind of happy because nothing happened. And then he sees the head of the hag and he swims back as fast as he can. I don't think I got it there. You can see, again, I can't see her nails, so I can't really comment for sure, but to me, it doesn't, I can't see the nails. But it grabs him on his way back, the hag does, and scratches his leg. And he freaks out, and then he's like, acts like he's drowning, and he's like in like an inch of water, and the guy comes, that was funny when the sheriff comes over, he's like, ah. But he comes over and he gets him out. So yes, if that lady did see him, he kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
He kind of ruined his macho-ness in this scene. But he gets out and he does have a big gash on his leg where she scratched him.
Yeah.
And again, was it really a hag? Did he get cut on something? Was it a fish? Who knows? But at this point, you still don't really know what's going on. And yes, I do want to eventually watch it be. I have not, but I know it's something I would like. I just have never gotten around to watching it.
Look, I can't believe she hasn't seen it. And by the way, you guys, years ago on this show, AJ and we did a total rewatch before the new Twin Peaks came out. AJ and I watched all of it, rewatched all of it, rewatched all the movies. We did a whole thing. Jamie did not do it with us. And then AJ and I we had another co-host, this guy, Tom, and we covered the whole, what was it called? Series. Twin Peaks The Return, Twin Peaks The Revival, whatever it was called. We covered all of it. And
to be fair, it was a lot to watch at the time. And I remember I did not have time to watch all of it. And I remember that. But I do want to see it. And I would eventually like to get it because I do think I'd like it. It seems like my kind of thing. I just
Twin Peaks The Return.
It. All right.
Yes.
So he goes, hold on. He goes to see Wick because he's sufficiently freaked out now because he's been scratched by this thing. And he goes to talk to him. And he wants to know what to do. And he tells him more about the sea hag and says that he needs to find a box and lock himself in it and stay there. Because he tells him that he's going to be paralyzed from her poison that's going to spread through him, and like he needs to get somewhere she can't get at him and just stay there for a few days. Like,
yeah,
no,
he says, like, how does she kill you? She sits on your face.
Yeah. And I thought this is like a succubus, and I'm like, no, a succubus sits on your chest and suffocates you. This lady sits on your face.
It's like death by oral sex.
Yes. Yeah, he's saying that the wound, like, she'll keep smelling him and be able to track him by his scent, and that he needs to hide. But he tells him he's going to be paralyzed if he don't do it soon. He's like, you need to get somewhere and get locked up. And Tom's not going to do it because Tom still doesn't believe it all. He's scared, but not scared enough, apparently, I guess. I love though that when he was, I forget exactly what he said, but like that, oh, like that whole thing that was in the trailer. They did that, that little clip of him doing that. Wick's trying. He's trying to convince him still. Like it's not working, but he's trying.
Well, Wick is not the most credible messenger.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have believed Wick either, if I'm honest. And like I said, for a lot of this, you're still not exactly sure if a lot of it's in his head, because we didn't really see, like, whenever he saw the hag, like, he turned around, she was gone. Nobody else saw her. So how do you know? It kind of goes back and forth. But he has been injured and he's bleeding there. We already know that he'd been scratched before. All right. More with his kid and trying to get him to listen to him. And then there is, so he goes to, wait. I think this is where he goes to the bar. I thought the part with the Reverend was before that, but I don't see it. So it must be. Well,
now he's trying to reschedule. She had been like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed you last. He never showed up the night before because he saw the creepy hag in the road, right? So this is like the makeup time, right? Where they have rescheduled, right? Isn't this like a rescheduled date? Well, it's sort of like a real thing, not just maybe because she called him on the answer machine. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you last night, right?
Yeah, she gives some excuse, and she tries to invite herself over his place,
Well,
even though
I
they just
mean,
met.
late into this, they have a really good conversation, right?
They do.
They have a really good conversation, and Tom reveals about himself. Like, now we learned that his wife died in childbirth.
Yes.
With this, I can't remember the son's name. I was going to call him Ethan, which is not his name, but and you know, we like Tom. This is like the most I think we see Tom like at ease so far yet in the show.
Yeah. He does really like her, and she really likes him, but whenever she sort of tries to invite herself over, he starts to freak out a bit. I think that he isn't quite, even though it's been years, maybe he's not quite ready to date not date, but he's not quite ready to go that far, I guess. And he gets a little nervous and
She comes on
very
pretty strong.
forward. Yeah, she's very forward. That's why I said she invites herself over pretty much. So he kind of shuts her down a bit and ends up leaving because he's not comfortable. Tells her that, maybe they shouldn't. And then there's this stuff here with the Reverend again. And he is, I mean, this part comes kind of from like after what Tom had said about the ringing bells and stuff from the church. But he goes down to a well, and it was very, to me, I didn't really exactly understand what he was doing, to be honest. I just knew that it was after what Tom had said about Evan. He thought Evan rang the bell, and he was like, had saw it was chained up and everything. But
he went to this big well in the woods, and he looked down into it, and then the screen went black, and so we never saw what he saw.
Really, we did not find out what was there, but it scared him. All right, more at the bar. He does come out where they are, and he said, even though we don't know anything, he tells them that he says that the evil's there. So whatever it was that he saw, it scared him. But of course,
he said there's evil here, and then he staggered off.
Yeah, but obviously the kids aren't going to listen, no matter what. All right, so I don't remember what was on the voicemail. I think it might have had to do with the party that was going on, but I honestly don't remember. I'm looking and seeing.
Patricia might have called and been.
I thought it was about her cocktail party or something that she was having.
It's called Sunset Cocktails that Patricia's in charge of, and he's supposed to be there.
Yeah, and he never showed up because he went on the date, sort of date. But at any rate, he's speeding again. So the woman shows up, even though he sort of blew her off. She shows up at his house, and he's so freaked out about what's going on with him that he thinks that she might be the hag that's following him. Like I said, I thought it was implying it wasn't her because like I forget why I thought that, but I remember thinking that when she gets back in the car that like she left, that it wasn't her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does seem to not be her at that moment. I'm not saying I'm certain it could be this, and it is set up, I guess. I mean,
like I said, we don't see her after Wick shoots the thing, so it's kind of like we don't know. We don't get an answer. And that's why I said that's why what I like, though. I like that we don't get these answers, and maybe that a lot of people don't, but I do like that they keep straddling that line for a while.
Like, I guess, like that the feeling was that he was just so creeped out and paranoid that he turned down a chance to score. He turned down free sets.
Yeah, he blew off this lady he actually liked. But I like that you kind of got to decide for yourself. Yeah, I thought she wasn't supposed to be, but like I said, since we never see her again in this episode after Wick shoots whatever it is, the thing on him, the hag, it's not confirmed. But she does leave, which is why I think it's not supposed to be her. But it doesn't prove that because it's still like supernatural shit if it's going on.
I mean, one thing that set him off was right before there was a knock on the door on that answer machine. I think he had Patricia calling and saying like, why aren't you here? But didn't Wick call him and say, listen, be careful, the sea hag is going to get you?
Probably.
Like, so. One of the messages was Wick saying like, if she's not there, she's going to be there. She's not there already. She's coming. Like, protect yourself. And then, and then the doorbell rings. Right. And so he's like in a heightened freak out, like at that moment. She came at the worst possible moment.
Yeah, she did. But he at least he's somewhat listening. I mean, he's not like locking himself in a container like Wick said, but he at least locks himself in the house and like keeps her out. Like I appreciate he's at least scared enough he's trying, right? Just not enough.
Yeah.
And then he falls asleep or whatever. You don't know if he's dreaming or not, but he sees his wife, his dead wife. But it ends up it's actually the hag they're supposed to be, if it's real. And he is paralyzed, like Wick said he would be, sort of. But he does. Okay, she has long nails. I'll give you. She does have really long nails that look like they were done. I don't know that they look
like they were done. They look kind of purple to me.
Yeah, I don't know. They do look like she had really long, like she had a manicure or something. But they are all dirty, so I don't know. It's hard to tell. But she's got really long nails. But either way, she's after him, and he's sort of half paralyzed.
He's very like lethargic, right? He can barely move. And here she's gonna sit on his face.
So he puts the recliner back and knocks her off, and then he runs. Well, he doesn't run. He crawls. He tries to run and gets away. He gets in the bathtub and he hides, and he's like, hiding there. And there she is with her nails. Yeah, those are pretty good nails for a hag. That's so gross though.
And very long hair.
Yeah, very long hair. And Wick comes in at the last second and shoots her, or with harpoons her, and she like explodes into all this dirt. Which now that thing's gonna be infected. No, I'm just kidding. But all this stuff explodes all over him. So what concerned me, and I kind of questioned, is I thought that you couldn't kill her from what Wick said, like that he had to wait it out, and then he went and killed her. So I don't know. I was a little confused by that, but I mean, I thought it played out really well, and he clearly at that point
look at that
leaves him.
I'm sorry. That's the harpoon sticking out of the wall, right? He shot her with this harpoon gun.
Yes, yeah.
Jamie, I had not thought about that, but you raise a good point. Like, if you can shoot her, why do you just say to Tom, get a gun? Why do you have to lock yourself in a shed for 3 days? A chest, if you can just if she can kill the harpoon.
Yeah, I don't know. That part I didn't get, but it was still good. I still liked it, but even if it didn't make 100% sense. But there's also, I'm seeing in this recap I had looked up, the Reverend had left him a message saying that he heard the bells, and he said,
No, he doesn't say I heard the bells. He says, I heard it.
I heard it. Okay.
We're assuming. And then the bell starts ringing. I'm not assuming that they heard the bell. I'm assuming he heard something in that well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He did lean over the well. But he said, either way, he says, I heard it. And then he said, I'm so sorry. God, forgive me. That was the message he had left. Maybe the harpoon is a temporary solution. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe. I don't know. I again, that kind of makes me question, like, did it even happen if she's not there? I think you are supposed to think at this point that it's happening, but I don't know. It's still, there's things that make me question it a little bit, like, because she disappeared. Like, there's no evidence other than like all that dirt, which really does. I mean, I guess there is kind of mud everywhere, but
yeah, I mean, she exploded. There's like sea mud everywhere and a harpoon in the wall. Like, it's not. He shot something, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely shot something.
To me, this was definitive that he's not just imagining things.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. I do agree with you. I do think there is. I just like that a lot of things are not like cut and dry. Like, you don't really know what happened. Like, something was there, but like you said, what something was there, what was it? Like, nobody else saw it except for them. So I don't know. It's creepy. I like the way they play it. But
and both things could be true, right? Like, there could be something here, but Tom could also be overreacting and paranoid.
Yes. But it makes me think of like that X-Files Folia do, where like people can imagine things together, because like they're the only ones that are there. And that's what it made me wonder, like, is it possible that Wick made him so scared that like he imagined it and like Wick's, off his rocker? I don't know. I think you are supposed to think it was really there. I'm just saying, like, it did make me kind of think it didn't really show what happened. You know what I mean? It's very vague, which is what I really like.
Yeah, and it's not just Wick trying to drive him crazy, because the whole town believes this stuff.
No. I don't think Wick's trying to drive him crazy. I was just saying, is it possible that he got so scared he imagined it and that Wick thinks this stuff's there? I'm just saying, like, nobody saw it but them. I don't think that's the case, but
that dirt all over the place is definitive to me.
Yeah, something was there, that's for sure. Something that exploded. But yeah, I don't get why it was so easy to shoot. That did kind of make me be like, what? I'm a little confused. But either way, since we never see the woman after that, we have no idea if the woman's still alive. So unless we see the woman again, we won't get definitive on that. And I think he like scared her away. So I don't know that she's coming back.
I think if AJ was here, he would say, "You're wrong, Karen. Jamie and I are right. It's not her."
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. She left. So to me, it wasn't her, but hey, it's a supernatural creature. It sure as hell could have been her, right? I mean, you just don't know. And that's honestly what I like. So this is where we see the sheriff calling for people because he says something's gone wrong at the cocktail event with the Patricia's cocktail event. But we don't know what happened yet because that's where the episode ends, and that's where we'll pick up, I guess, next time.
And there was this great line where I guess in the bathtub scene where Tom says, "Why is this happening?" And Wick says, "I don't know. You just survive it." Like I don't know how long. So Tom's lived on the sun. His son was born on the island, right? We had you and I had this conversation.
Clear that we did, but they said they make it clear from what he said that I think he lied to that guy, which is what I was telling you. I think he's supposed to have lied to him because he wanted him to, bring people to the town.
So what we're talking about is last week when the reporter asked him if he'd been off the island. Yes, but he wasn't born there. And he says, "What about your son, born and raised?" And he's been off the island. And Tom pauses and he says, "Yes, of course he's been off the island." So you're saying, I mean, what we're saying is that he lied when he said his son had been off the island.
Yes, that is what I thought was supposed to be the case. Because I think he says to that woman that he was born there. Doesn't he?
No, he's not born there. He was not born there. He used to spend summers there as a child.
No. I mean, I thought he said to that woman when he was saying that she died in childbirth, I think he said to her that the kid was born on I think he said it to her, and that's how we know it was a lie, but I can't remember for sure. I thought he said something that implied he had lied. I'd have to go back. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but when he was saying about her dying in childbirth, I think he said that it was there. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I thought. But either way, I definitely assume that he lied to that guy because the way he paused like that, he didn't want to admit it. So yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right that he's never left. Okay. So Jamie, so this show, I think most people call this a horror comedy. I think the show calls itself a horror comedy. I don't really find it that funny. I mean, the absurdity in Tom's office environment is pretty absurd and pretty amusing, but I don't really find it that funny. I think you see the humor more than I do, right? And I wanted to ask the chat if you guys think it's funny.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think a lot of it's funny. Like I said, it's not like laugh out loud, roll on the floor funny, but that absurdity, I think there's a lot of things that happen that make me chuckle, make me laugh. And I really like kind of that part of it. And it's so weird. It's kind of like, it's got the weird, creepy stuff, but it's got like this other side to it that's like quirky weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm curious what other people think.
I'm curious if people find it and funny that way. It has a thing, a bit of like a show, like I don't know, Jamie, if you ever watched Northern Exposure when you were young.
Bits of it.
It was about a doctor from New York who went to live in Alaska and work in a small town, or a show like that Newhart, where Bob Newhart goes to his character goes to this inn in Vermont. He and his wife are the innkeepers, and the whole show is populated by these quirky weirdos who live up there, right? Like it has to me, I see a lot of those shows in this. Bill Chill calls it a supernatural mystery with dry, quirky humor. Kimberly says, every time I see it described as a comedy, it makes me pause, but I would go with quirky horror.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I just know that I found myself quite a few times. I feel like like I said, it's not like laugh out loud, but like I found myself chuckling at something crazy that happened in it. So it's not, yeah, it's not dark. Like it's dark, but there's parts that aren't dark. Like you said, yeah, it's got like it's comedic relief in the middle, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like the characters a lot. Like I really enjoy his coworkers more so than him, I think.
I think they Papa says, I am familiar with all of those. Keep going, Jamie. I may invest in this show. It's this would be considered a dramedy. Yeah, a dramedy.
I don't know that I'd go that far. Maybe a horror drama. I mean, it's more horror than drama, I'd say to me. It's definitely got like the scary stuff going on.
I think they've done a really good job of establishing like the surrounding characters. Like a lot of shows, it takes a long time for you to like when Tom goes to the office, even from the first episode, it's really clear like who like the one that is always asleep, the old one who naps all day, and Patricia, and like everybody in the office, and the sheriff and Shep, they're all really well drawn from the beginning, right?
Yes, they are.
There are cast members who have been in comedic shows, so they have a comedic presence. Yeah, I guess that goes a long way when you cast comedy actors in your horror shows to give them that feel.
Yeah.
It's very well, I mean, the whole atmosphere of the town, they've done a really good job of establishing it all fast.
They have. Yeah. But like I said, I think I a lot of times like the other characters more than him, which is okay. Like it doesn't bother me that I think you're supposed to be kind of annoyed at him a lot of times, probably because he's not listening to the sense that everybody's trying to get him to listen to, like saying, don't do this, or this is dangerous. And like, he's like you said, like Jaws, he's like not listening. And it makes you be like, why are you not listening to them? Yes, the characters. I agree. I like all of them actually a lot. I was going to say, I wondered, and I was looking to see, because I know Jenna had asked me earlier, episode 4 is actually out now. It is available now. So I was going to say, if people wanted to watch it when we're done here, since we're not watching Daredevil, we can.
Do that.
Because I can turn the TV down so it doesn't blast my head, and I can still watch it. So
I was going to say, to your point, Jamie, that you like other people better than Tom. I don't think he's supposed to be likable. I mean, he's not. I don't hate him, but he's not the most. He's kind of an abrasive know-it-all to the people in the town, right? Like it's kind of interesting that Tom spent his entire summer, like every year as a child, went there for the summer. Now he's lived there continuously for like 16 years since his son was born, right? And he still is like the total outsider.
Yeah. And I think you're supposed to kind of feel like that too a bit. So yeah, great. Fletcher, welcome, Fletcher.
Fletcher.
And you're right. The Sea Hag being launched by the Punisher was funny.
That was pretty funny. It was.
And I think even like the line whenever he asked him and he's like, I didn't get it. How's Sea Hag kill? And he goes, oh, he sits on your face. Like even that to me was something funny. Like I said, it wasn't like laughing.
Yeah, funny. And then the look on Tom's face is always right.
Yeah.
I
think we know the answer to this really quick, really easy of all the show. If you mean between the two from today, I'm assuming between Daredevil and Widow's Bay. I'm going to say Widow's Bay. Yeah. But what about for the other things of what we're doing? What about like from?
Well, we were gonna talk about For All Mankind tonight for a few minutes, but I don't know if we feel like we're out of time.
You're welcome to. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen it, so I can't really help.
Yeah,
you with
AJ asked me to go ahead and cover it.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like Michael in The Office. So I don't like The Office, but I've seen a few of them, and yeah, it's kind of like Michael in The Office. He does shake your head things, and he never learns. So I could, since we always do For All Mankind, I'll just do it solo. It will only take a couple of minutes.
That's fine. I'll stay here and hang out until you
hang out and stick with me. So this episode was good and bad of For All Mankind. Let me get it up here.
I'm going to say, we'll put the picture up and I'll mute myself. And
I have a little recap here about it. But this episode, we have a 6-month time jump has happened since the coup on Mars. They go ahead and call it a coup. Like, people are like, we seem to have a committee here with Celia and Miles and the other guy whose name I forget right now, seem to be running the whole, they're the occupying committee, I guess. But they do call it a coup. Miles seems to be like kind of shocked that he has staged a coup, but he has. So it's this 6-month time jump, and Earth, if you guys recall, Earth is trying to starve them. Like at the end of last week, Earth was like, "Oh, you're gonna have a coup on Mars? Guess what? We're done sending any food up there. So you people better give up." They have 2 months of food left, and they're having a lot of problems with the opposition, led by Palmer. Like the peacekeepers keep raiding their food stocks and raiding their medical supplies and everything, right? This actually was a little boring, I thought, because we mostly saw people talking about how bad things have gotten and talking about these raids, and there wasn't like a ton of action. It is a pretty talky show, I get that. And Celia continues to be like sort of leading these, she's sort of like the adult in the room a lot of times. Meanwhile, poor Aleda, I do like what they're doing with Aleda. Like, Aleda, she came to Mars just to be in charge of the Sojourner mission and get this spaceship to fly off to Saturn, right? And now she got stuck here, and now she's basically running Mars. Like, all these computer systems that don't just run the spaceship, but take care of like all their life support and all their other stuff. Like, she's kind of running this place, which is kind of not what she intended. But I like what they're doing with her. I thought that was pretty good. What was great about this episode was the Sojourner mission. So the mission finally approaches Titan. And I got a picture here of Kelly. So Kelly's off on space. And by the way, from people, I just want to, in defense of my girl Tabitha, Kelly Baldwin, you think Tabitha's a bad mother? Kelly Baldwin, Jamie, she left her teenager home alone on Mars while she went on a mission to the moon of Saturn for 1 year.
Okay, that's bad. That's worse than Tabitha. That's bad.
Yes. And like, okay, he's on Mars. He can't really go outside that much without a suit. How much trouble can he get in? Well, he helped stage a coup. And in this episode, it's his birthday. And his new girlfriend of, I guess they've been dating for 6 months now, him and Lily, it's his birthday, and all of his friends who were stuck working in the greenhouse, they staged this little birthday party for him, which is kind of cute. But unfortunately, it was right when are we calling them the Earth Loyalists? I'm going to call them the Earth Loyalists. The Earth Loyalists, led by the worst person in the universe, Dev, have chosen this moment to blow up the greenhouses to help starve them out. And they didn't know that teenagers broke in there to have like a illegal cornfield party. And so like one kid dies, and it's really terrible. I actually thought more kids might die. I don't want to say I wish more kids died, but this, the consequences of this were, thank God, minimal. Like, a bunch of kids 7 people were injured. 1 person was killed. The peacekeeping and Dev side, they don't seem to really care. In particular, Palmer seems to not really care that a kid was killed. Dev seems regretful that a kid was killed, but he says, is Alex okay? It's a weird thing about this show. One thing they haven't, Dev's concern for Alex doesn't ring true for me. Boy, look at his picture. His shoulders look very slopey in that picture. It doesn't really make sense to me that Dev, the horrible king of Mars, suddenly is like very like, he's so concerned about Alex, who is not his son. I mean, he's known the kid since he was a baby, but it seems kind of weird. He's weirdly attached to Alex. That part of the show didn't. I mean, AJ texted me and was like, "Have you watched this show yet?" And he is like outraged at Dev, and he should be, because Dev is very self-absorbed person who only cares about establishing a colony only cares about his vision for people to live on Mars. And he doesn't really care about, he actually says, I think, that, well, one is dead and it's kind of bad, but I think he says something like they have to realize this is for their own good. Like, when are these people going to realize I did this for their own good? And it kind of works, because now they have only enough food for 2 months. And all these people are starting to sign all these petitions being like, can you send a spaceship up here and let us go back to Earth? Because we can't take it up here anymore. Miles wants to continue his resistance, but it's just not going to work. They have no food. Everybody wants to go home. And I don't know what's going to happen, because these guys are running out of food, but Dev and his people, like, Dev's people are kind of horrified at what he's done, right? Like, Dev doesn't really kind of care that much what happened. So I don't know where that's going to go. I wish AJ was here so we could debate, like, is Dev going to be able to control Mars? Who's going to control Mars? Meanwhile, Kelly goes into space and she does this amazing thing. Kelly's on the way to Mars. She's on the way to Saturn. If you guys are watching this show, you know that the rush, once again, just like in season 1, we have like a Russian mission and a US mission, both trying to get to the destination, both trying to get to Titan, the moon first. The Russian ship very sadly miscalculates their trajectory and they are destroyed. It's actually really sad, Jamie. They are like on the radio and they know that their trajectory is wrong, and they're talking to Kelly's ship. They're talking to the Americans like, it's wrong. We're not going to make it. We're going to like get killed when we get there. And they're like, try this, try that. It won't work. And, you just hear them on the radio going to their death. It's very sad. So Kelly's boss, this Weasley guy whose name I forget, Walter Winston. He's like, I'm calling it. We're going back home. And Kelly whips out this plaque that we have seen. This was the plaque they put on in season 1 when they were trying to get to the moon and Russia beat them first. And this thing has been kicking around ever since they did not get to the moon. Kelly has taken it with her. She got it from her dad. And she takes one look at it, and you know that she is going to sabotage this mission so that they are forced to go to Titan. She does it. And they, one of the last thing we see is them stepping onto Saturn's moon. So she's achieved it, but only by being insubordinate and sabotaging, circumventing her boss's direct command. And she also has left her son on a planet that only has 2 months of food left. And he can't go back to Earth, right? Because he was born on Mars and he can't handle the gravity or whatever. So I don't know what she's going to do. I don't even know, I love this part because this is what we loved about season 1 and 2 of this show was AJ told me that he was yelling at the TV, yeah, Kelly, you're a goddamn Baldwin. And this show was so great in season 1 and 2 when we saw all these great leaps forward for mankind. When they got to the moon, when they established a colony on the moon, they get to Mars. We haven't had one of these great moments for 2 seasons now. So it was really exciting and felt a lot like the early things I loved about this show. When Kelly pulls her insubordinate move and gets them down to Saturn's moon. So I think I covered all of that really quickly. If anybody's watching this show, you might be like, wow, Karen, that was fast, but we'll get it back together. So I'm going to be gone and AJ will cover this by himself next week. And then eventually we will be back on together to talk about this.
Yeah, I didn't think about that fact that if you guys wait for each other, you'll never get it done. So
yeah, we won't be back together till June. So
yeah.
Jamie, you're constant though.
Fletcher's asking, is this show like Constellation? Did you see Constellation? I thought you did, but I
don't think I saw Constellation.
I'm trying to remember what it was about to summarize it to you.
I'll just Google it real quick.
Yeah, it's with Naomi, how do you say it? Numi, not Naomi. I want to say Numi.
Oh, yes, I watched that show where she went to space and then she came.
Travel.
There was like time distillation or time dilation.
Yeah,
No, it's not like that. This show is a very much more straightforward space show about it's basically about the race between Russia and the US in the space. So in episode 1 is the original moon landing, but it's an alternate history where Russia gets to the moon first and they beat the United States to the moon. And like Nixon and the whole government are so freaked out that Nixon gives like billions and billions of dollars to NASA. And so there are great leaps forward. This is why we have a colony of people living on the moon in like the 80s. And we have like on the show, it's only like 2012 and they're living on Mars, right? So it's a very interesting
it's an alternate history.
It's an alternate history. I did not talk about they have this great like KGB long term. This woman Irina, who was in the KGB, and she a couple seasons ago she tricked someone from NASA into becoming a Russian agent. They both went to prison in their respective countries. Now we've got like as part of this coup, this guy he's this Russian guy who was the governor of Mars, and now they're like being kept prisoner. And there was a great scene where she's like Irina, like she's still so KGB, and she's like whispering in his ear and trying to influence him and get him on her side and whatever. And it's really kind of like she's horrible, but I love watching her.
How many horrible characters do we like watching? Right, like it happens.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean they're not fun.
Yeah. One of the great things, Fletcher, that I love about it is that Nixon women didn't get Russia put a woman in space before the United States did in real life, but like women didn't become full-on astronauts in the US for a long time. And in this show, as part of like women go to the moon like in the 70s on this show, because they are like putting women in the space program really quickly to gain more public support. So there's tons of awesome female characters that you would maybe not normally see in a show about the early days of the space program.
There were parts of it I liked. I just have a hard time continuing with it because it's slow to me, because I said before, I don't love like the stuff that's got like a lot of history. And I know it's like not real history, but it's like, if that makes sense, like it's a lot of that, and that's the kind of stuff I don't always love. Otherwise maybe I'd like it more, but so I find it a bit slow, but it was still good the parts I've seen. I just at a certain point quit watching it. There is a spinoff now, that Star City, I think it's called, the new one.
Star City is coming in July. It's set in the Star City is a real place in Russia where they have their space program. There is an Elon Musk on this show.
I don't think he's called Elon Musk though, is he?
No, it's this guy Dev, who is like, he's like a billionaire who's putting all of his money into his dream of having people live on Mars. And it's coming at the expense of all the people who actually work on Mars right now, like all the miners and the workers. He wants to build like a beautiful city for rich people to sit by a pool under the Martian dome. And meanwhile, all the real people are like, we don't make any money and we're starving to death. And he's like, I don't care. So yeah, he's basically the Elon Musk of the show.
Fair. The other thing I wanted to say, just to answer his other question, Lestat isn't a spinoff of Interview with the Vampire. It's season 3. They're just, for whatever reason, they're calling it Lestat instead of Interview with the Vampire, but it's still the Interview with the Vampire story. It's all about Lestat.
Good night, B.
Good night, B. You're gonna watch Widow's Bay with us. You gotta come watch Widow's Bay with us.
Well, the first book was called Interview with the Vampire, and the second book was called The Vampire Lestat. So they're going like with the names of the novels, but it's just the next book in the series.
Yeah. No, it does. I can't see what everything.
If you want to call it season 1 of Lestat, like that's cool, but it's really the continuation of this book is all about Lestat and what he does. They can call it a separate show and that's fine, but it is the second novel.
Interested if they're promoting it like that. I hadn't heard that, because it's definitely still part of it. I hadn't heard that, but no, it's not a spin-off per se.
I mean, it's not technically a spin-off.
Yeah.
It is a guy. It is,
It's kind of like with the Terror, although the Terror is an anthology, so it's not the same kind of show. But I'm saying it's like how they're calling, the Terror. It's like Devil and Silver. It's like the 3rd season, and they're calling it a different show. It's not really a different show, but it's the way they're.
It is a spin-off in the sense that it's a character getting his own show, right? Lestat was on the 1st season. He gets the show. Louis not really in this. But
that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if Louis is gonna be in it at all or not.
But they will come back together in later. There's like 10 books in this series, right? And so, but this is like all Lestat show.
It's season 3, Fletcher. I guess they're just advertising it like you're saying. I didn't know they were advertising it that way, but it is season 3. It's still part of the same show, but I guess since it's a different character, they're changing their marketing. I don't know, but it technically is season 3. I just think you don't have to probably have seen it. No, we're going to watch episode 4 tonight, B, just because it came out. So I was going to put it on since we're not doing,
we're not doing it again at another time. That's more convenient also, right?
Yeah, we're still going to be doing it having the watch party on Thursday at 8:30, where we'll do episode 3 and 4. So yeah, if you've not seen 3, I would say I'd watch both, but honestly, my head is hurting so long. I don't know I can stay up 2 hours streaming it. So we'll probably just do 4, but we will be doing it again on Thursday if you haven't seen 3 yet and you want to watch it first. I'm afraid to put it. I'm afraid if I put on 3, I'll never get to 4.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
But yeah, we're going to be doing 3 and 4 on Thursday. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, I'm out next week, but AJ will be back. I'm going on 2 vacations. I'm going on vacation, then I come back for 1 day, and then I go on another vacation to a different place. So I'm back at my house not until June 4th.
So you're coming back right after the interview. I'm missing it.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I'll join you guys for like the June. Is that the June 8th or 9th edition of Fandom Access? I'll be back.
Yeah. So.
But you have AJ. Yep, I'm going to France, Fletch, and then I come home, and then I'm going kayaking.
Yes. So hopefully you'll have fun. But yeah, you're gonna miss quite a bit. But meanwhile, I will be back with Scarlett and Jen on Thursday for Widow's Bay. She's going to be joining us since we're changing the day. And then that is at 11. And like I said, we'll have the watch party at 8:30 so we can do both episodes. And then the live streams at 11. This is all Eastern. And then Friday, we're going to be doing Punisher, which will, assuming it's only an hour, as I'm seeing. If that changes, it'll change. But assuming it's only an hour, it'll be 9:30 for the watch party on Friday and 11 for our live stream. But that's just 1 week. That's not, long. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Fletcher. I feel like I'm talking so slow today, and I know I went real slow through Daredevil. You're like, you're going slow. I'm not trying to. I'm like,
thanks everyone for your nice wishes and for being here. Yeah. Before you go, like and subscribe.
Yes, like the video, hype it if you're on mobile and you can, and then subscribe to Sci-Fi Vision. And come back tomorrow, and I'll have the link for that up in the morning. But right now, in about 15 minutes, we'll say 12:30 Eastern. We'll put on Widow's Bay. I keep wanting to say Anchor Bay. That's a company. Widow's Bay, episode 4 at 12:30. Yeah. So we will hopefully see you guys in a bit. If not, we'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night. Jamie gets a night off. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.